You should be live.
Okay. Does it show live up in your? There we
It
go.
does. Does it show it live in yours?
It just barely did. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what he's saying is that because the other companies have lowered their costs,
Their wage.
their wages, that they are also going to be able to lower their prices that they can sell the food for. And then their prices being lowered is going to affect sales for the Baxter company if they don't also lower some of their prices to be competitive.
True.
And so that's why they need to also reduce wages so that they can lower some of their costs so that they can be competitive with the. So if they don't buy that, then we go to the Me Too clause.
Yeah.
Okay. Question prep for all students.
And Baxter was going to take like the average of all the firms that have lowered their wage.
That is what's in the Me Too clause, yes.
Yeah.
As far as for raises for
For
it was
wage.
originally written for when wages increase, but now they're saying that why couldn't we use it for when wages decrease as well?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Baxter kind of stayed the same the whole time. Wage wise.
Right. They've always been able to give a good wage.
Mm.
Oh, okay.
And they've kept their same wage for years.
Yeah.
And Baxter himself wanted a 3-year freeze on his accounts. His page.
Oh, he did do that?
Yeah, he did. It says right here, on top of page 3.
Yeah.
In 1981, international AFL-CIO leaders negotiated with a number of leading food processing companies, including Baxter, settling on a 3-year freeze of rate wages at $10.69 an hour. But that could just be me.
Page 3 of which case?
Page 3 of the Adam Baxter Company local 83.
Oh, of the 1983 case?
Yeah.
Oh, is it page 3 on the bottom or just page 3 of, maybe I'm looking at the wrong page.
Well, is the page after the bargaining context and issues.
Oh, okay.
The paragraph starts in 1981.
So Matt is saying that it's not where I can answer. I'm working my way to when I can, where I can. Sorry.
That's okay. Matt's not part of our group. It's just you and I.
No, I know. I just don't want him to, because I need to get to work sometime today. So, I mean, I hope they're not like pushing it. They probably are pushing it back to, I hope they're discussing what they're going to do and they just tell him, is I guess what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, and the Baxter company want to do a 52-week notification for layoff.
Well, that's what the union has always worked out with them. That seems crazy to me. How do you wait a whole entire year to lay people off when you're having trouble then?
Yet they have it in their back of their head like, oh, I'm gonna lay off. So why push forward for what I can actually do?
Yeah.
Why give my best?
Number of the leading, including Baxter, settling on a 3-year freeze of base rate wages. In spite of the freeze, wages has fallen in other companies over the last 2 years. Oh, okay. I did underline that part.
Yeah.
So, okay. 3-year freeze of base rate wages at $10.69 an hour. In spite of the freeze, wages have fallen precipitously in other companies over the last 2 years. One of Baxter's major competitors and a leader in the industry filed bankruptcy in the spring of 1983. So a 40% wage cut from 1069. Whoops. I'm curious if that's what the 1069 is.
That's 267 decrease, I think.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. 1069 minus 40%. A 40%, 1069 times 40% is $4.276. So that's down to like where firm E is paying between $6 and $7.
Yeah.
Wow. So that's quite a bit. That's a good argument. I feel like the wage should be $9 an hour.
I think people would have more confidence in themselves if they were making about closer to $10 an hour than making under 10, like 6.
Well, so this is when we had to do that quiz and I answered that question. This is what I think the wage should be.
Yeah.
I think that Baxter, it says like above that little table, it says Baxter has already settled with all of its other plants on a base rate of $9 an hour, effective September 1983, rising to $10 an hour effective September 1984. So
Yeah.
they've already, all their other plants are already at $9 an hour. And
Yeah.
sure, they've always paid that Deloitte plant more. They've
Yeah.
always made more, and they've always been their higher producer. But I feel like it's come to a time in the history of this where it needs to be consistent across the company.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it's sure, you're taking it down for a year, but then you're also giving them the carrot saying, hey, it's back. We're going to raise it back up within a year.
And they're moving it closer and closer to their mouth to get the carrot there.
Yeah. So that's kind of where I think they should go with it.
Yeah.
Just A, out of consistency, B, it's a lot more than what this
Firm E.
what the companies that agreed to take a 40% wage cut, they're down in the $6 an hour
Yeah. And
range.
that's like minimum wage for like 14-year-olds.
Yeah. Well, back in 1983 though, minimum wage was probably
as high as it is now.
No, especially not in Washington. Washington has a high minimum wage compared to like some of these other states, countries.
Yeah.
These other states, like Idaho's minimum wage is still $7.25 an hour.
Wow. Yeah. See, I think I got my job with like $7.10 an hour here.
Yeah.
$7.25.
So that's kind of what I thought. I thought that it's come to a point in time when Baxter just needs to be consistent with all of their plants.
Yeah.
And they just need to be consistent company wide in the same, paying the same, and that it's a good compromise. When times get tough, everybody has to compromise a little, but it's also letting the people know that the next year it will be raising back up to 10.
Yeah. But at the same time, it gives the employees more incentive to try and push their hardest to accomplish what needs to be done.
Yeah. So that's kind of where I thought we should go with it. And then if we have to bring up if they don't want to agree to that and we have to bring up the Me Too clause, then we can pull out the other numbers and say, hey, look, if you want to go the Me Too clause, the average of the top 3 firms, it would be $8.42 an hour.
Yeah.
Do you want to drop even lower? Or do you want to stay at $9 an hour? But I think from how I understood the reading, we are kind of supposed to maybe
make a solid argument.
Yeah, it sounded like from the reading that the guy that was going to do the bargaining was hoping to not have just to use that as a last resort.
Yeah.
But see, I liked at the end what it said. The one guy, the chief counsel, stated the problem. He said, we don't want to go the way of many other packers who realized too late that their costs were out of line and then they tried to recover and couldn't. And I think that's a good argument for us to
stand on,
kind of to bring up with is to say, hey, we don't want to realize too late that our costs are out of line with what we're trying to do, and then our sales tank and
we're gone.
We can't pay anybody anything. We'd rather pay everybody something than pay nothing.
Yeah. You'd like to be known as the company that will continue to be equal rather than be a duper.
Right. I mean, we don't want to let people go if we don't have to. And if that means everyone has to take cuts, then everyone has to take cuts.
Yeah. And you can't put people up high. Well, you're putting other people down low.
Right. I mean, I take it from this reading that Baxter has always been a company that kind of operates
Fairly?
in the red and fairly. Yeah, that they've always done well.
Yeah.
Even when times have gotten a little bit hard, they've still kind of shown a profit and are able to operate within their means and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of get the feeling too that they might be one of the more popular food packaging companies in that
area.
and that their product is more popular, and so
Is well distributed.
it's well distributed and people like it better, and so
Oh.
they're able to sell it at a little bit higher price all this time because they've always paid their workers a higher price.
Yeah.
But when times get tough and people don't have money to pay the higher prices, they'll buy the stuff that's at the lower prices.
Yeah, like the generic brand.
Right. So I think that's what they're worried about, is because this is during the 80s and in the recession. They can't keep their prices that high when the other players are cutting their prices even more. They've got to be able to cut their prices too to stay.
Yeah,
to
and
stay
when
competitive.
when the community isn't actually making enough to actually pay the higher prices on a continual basis, then
Right.
they take that into account as well.
Right. Yeah. Huh. I'm going to text him and say, how long are we going to wait for
Third match?
Yeah, because
Yeah, I think we've gone past our time.
yeah, if we were supposed to go 5 minutes, we've gone 20.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say, can we just maybe get started?
Yeah.
And have Matt join us?
When he can.
Join when he can. I just need to go to work sometime this morning.
Mm.
I mean, we've already waited an extra 15 minutes.
Jared's coming in.
All right, I think we're supposed to join him now.
Okay. Did you leave ours?
Yeah.
Okay.